it's going to be. Okay. To understand it, our ancestors, everyone, they understood what their destiny was and what it is going to be. They had such a relationship with the Most High that they were making moves based upon what he would say. They weren't just arbitrarily making decisions, like me. They weren't doing that. They understood what it was. When the Most High told Abraham to leave his land, he believed what the Most High said. He responded. He was caused to believe on the promises the Most High had. God gave that to him. That's what we have. Yitzchak, he wanted to bless his sons and provide them with the blessings about the land. See? Yaakov told his descendants, get rid of your gods. Because we're about to go up to Bethel, and we're about to go there, and I'm about to make a sacrifice to the Most High. They understood what their destiny was. Did not our father tell his son Joseph before he died to make sure to take me out of here and bury me in the cave that's in the land of Canaan? Did not Joseph understood what his destiny was when he told his brothers, make sure that you tell when we leave here, because Yah's going to come and visit us. Take my bones out of here. They didn't leave without him. They understood the destiny. In our Torah portion this week, we saw many things. But one of the greatest things that we recognized was that the fact that the Most High wanted Egypt to know him. He wanted Egypt to know him. He wanted the children of Israel to know him. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Praise Yah.
Yep.
Hopefully the presentation will be acceptable to you today. I've had a rough week. Why does this thing do this every single time, man? Every time. Every single time it does this. When I go to, 100% view, it says your screen sharing is paused. Okay, so let me resume it. Let me see if it catches. If not, I got to get out of it, which I do. Sorry. I don't know what's wrong with the app. Okay, let me go there now. Just messes up everything, messes up my flow. That's technology for you, though. But I ain't gonna let it mess me up. I'm gonna get this today. Praise be to the living Elohim. You can see it, right?
Yep, it's full screen now.
All right. So listen. The name of our Torah portion this week is called Wa'era.
Is that good enough?
Okay. And Wa'era means, and he appeared. That's what it means. And he appeared. And the question is, who appeared? Who are we talking about?
Yahweh.
Yahweh appeared. He opens up with the term that I appeared unto Abraham, I appeared unto Yitzchak, and I appeared to Yaakov, your fathers. And I appeared to them as El Shaddai, right? The burly one, the one of sustenance, the one of provision. That's why they were super, super blessed and an abundance of all things. All of them were wealthy. Every last one of them. Abraham was wealthy. Yitzchak was wealthy, inherited everything his father had. including all of his servants. Yaakov was wealthy. He received the blessing from his father. They were a wealthy family. But somewhere down the road, the Most High decided to remove all of the wealth of the sons of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov and bring them to an absolute zippo. All they had when he left the land of Canaan to go into Mizraim was nothing but the clothes on their back and a few possessions that they had, the rakusha that they had when they were living in the land of Canaan. Then when they went over to Mizraim, their brothers supplied them with food and they became shepherds. And everything was good. They got delivered from the great famine. So they migrated. They come into the land of Mizraim. They lived there for about 215 years. Everything was peachy creamy. Everything is wonderful. They're all employed. Everybody's doing well. They're having a lot of kids. Their numbers are increasing and increasing and increasing and increasing, just as Yah has said. And sure enough, there's a group of people that felt like, and I'm talking about the nation in which they lived, was like, this is a problem for us. These people are outnumbering us. And if there's ever to break out a war between us and somebody else, these people are going to probably take that side and they're going to leave and they're going to turn on us. So they had a plan. Let's kill all of the males. But prior to that, they said, let's just work them to death. Right? Wasn't working. That didn't work. Let's enslave them. That didn't work. Let's kill their kids. That was working. But they were still having a lot of children. There was a lot of death. Israel's firstborns were being thrown into the Nile River alive. And that's where we come to the story of one in particular Hebrew baby boy that was named by Pharaoh's daughter, who was found. His name is Moshe, meaning to be drawn out. He was drawn out of the water, and the Most High had a plan for him, and he had a destiny by the birth of this man who we know today as Moshe. Some call him Moses. His name is Moshe. Some call him Masha. It means to take out. It has some other meanings as well that we went over about a certain touch. He was a very humble man. But like we noticed last week, he was a man that was concerned about his abilities. You know, he was caught up on about the things that he wasn't able to do. And so we saw that Most High had to strengthen him to bring him to the point where he can actually, you know, use him and utilize him. Because what he wanted to use him for was to bring the children of Israel out of the land of Mizraim like a shepherd bringing their flock to another location. But one thing that Moshe was completely unaware of is that this was going to be a war. This was a war. This is a war between the Most High and the people of Mizraim, and more specifically, Paro, the king. Paro is not the actual name of the king, it's actually the name of a title, okay? So we're going to go over what we found in our Torah portion this week. There were some objectives that were for Israel that the Most High wanted to do and why he brought this war upon them. He said that he wanted to bring them out, and he wanted to bring them out from underneath their burdens. He was going to rescue them from their bondage and their servitude, because it's been a long time. It's been over 215 years of servitude, okay, and bondage and death and misery and sorrow and grief constantly, not including the daily things like getting old and, you know, not having enough, you know, food and money and, you know, resources, not being able to enjoy your family. It was a place of great stress and great distress, excuse me. But also too, he said that he was going to redeem them with a stretched out arm, which means that he was going to bring upon great judgments in order to do this. He also says that he's going to take as my people. This is the objective, is to take Israel as his people and for him to be your Elohim, okay? He also wanted to bring them to the promised land. This was something that he told them that he has done, okay? In order to fulfill the covenant that he made with their fathers, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, okay? And he remembered the covenant because of the cry that he heard. Also, too, not only was he going to bring them to this land, but he was going to give the land as a permanent heritage to the sons of Israel. We went over some of these earlier this week, and we looked at the fact that the Most High has said this in a very perfect tense, like it's already done. Okay, so these are the objectives for the nation of Israel. Okay, but also too, there are some objectives for Mizraim. The purpose for this war is to let them know that I am Yahweh. And what you're going to see in the lessons today, or you're going to see this idea of what, or not idea, but the phrase that you're going to see a lot that's called Ani Yahweh. Ani Yahweh. We're going to say it a lot today, okay? Because that's what Yahweh wants us to know as well. And this is how he let himself be known to the Mizraim and to Paro. That term, I am Yahweh, means Ani Yahweh, okay? And Yahweh says that he has no equal. I cited some of those verses right there for you to write down, where you can find out this is what his goal is, this is what his objective is to let them know that he's Yahweh, that I am Yahweh, to let them know that Yahweh has no equal. He has no equal. Third, to make a distinguishment between his people and the children of Mizraim. He's going to make a difference between his people and the Mizraim. And we saw that in some parts of our Torah portion this week, where the Most High was doing some things to the land of Mizraim that he did not do to the land of Goshen. Also, too, another objective is that the earth belongs to Yahweh. That's what he wanted them to know, is that the earth belongs to Yahweh. So a lot of the signs and wonders that he was doing was to reflect this about his character and to let everyone know what belongs to him and who he is. And last but least, I didn't put the scripture here because it'll be in our Torah portion next week, but I wanted you to understand that this was a war. And the war was to execute judgment against Mizraim's gods and against Paro, his servants and his household. So this is what this is about. This is about getting rid of the idea of another God. That's what Wa'era is about. This is what the Most High is saying. When he says that I am going to Wa'era and he appeared, okay, he's given us a clue about what his intentions are. And you will see in your study today that this is not the first time, or it's not going to be the last time that the Most High is going to appear, okay? In your Torah portion this week is said, by now I could have stretched out my hand and struck you and your people with such severe plagues that you would have been wiped off the earth. But it is for this very reason that I have kept you alive, to show you my power, and so that my name may resound throughout the whole earth. When I think about this, the Most High is having this back and forth with Paro, right? And he's using Moshe to, get this guy, really, what do they call it? Not irritate him, but get his goat, like having this back and forth with him. I believe the Most High, in a sense, is saying, like, he's literally playing with Pharaoh. He's just playing with him. He's making him do things that he never thought he would do. He's showing him things. He's expressing his power to him. He's letting him know. But every time the Most High would tell him something, right, he would give what they would call a command. Okay. After he give a command, and when he gave that command, he would give what they would call a warning. Okay, I noticed that he didn't give him a lot of warnings. He gave him some, but he didn't give him many. I think from my studies, I might be wrong on this, but he gave him, from what I can remember, he gave him literally 3 warnings. That's what he gave him. He gave him 3 warnings. He didn't give him a warning about the blood, He gave him a warning when it came to the frogs. He gave him a warning when it came to certain other plagues that he would give, but other ones he would just go ahead and do it. And that was because he understood that Paro's whole thing was he was never going to listen to the Most High. So what we can understand too is this. We need to know that Yah has done what he's done, okay, because he wants to show his power. That's the goal. I want to show you my power, which is my koki, okay? Because what it is, it's about my name. That's all I'm concerned with. I'm concerned about my name, right? Resounding throughout the whole earth. He understood, God knows the plan, that when I do what I'm going to do to Misraim, this is going to be a story that's going to be taught throughout the whole entire world. They're going to know about it. Everyone's going to know about what's happened to Pharaoh. I mean, if you go to any of your churches or any of your synagogues, you go to even to a Muslim mosque, and you ask or you mention this story, they'll be able to tell you exactly what happened to Pharaoh. Even if you asked an atheist, they would know this story. So what it means is that Yahweh's name has resounded through the whole entire earth. Okay, it has. And what his name is his what?
Character.
It's his character. Okay. But also too, Yah says that his name is another aspect. Let me write it. This thing is tripping. You're right, Dr. You're right. It is his character. But also too, there's something about Yahweh's name that he wants to share with us. Yahweh's name is about his reputation. That's what his name is about. It's about his reputation. It's his rep. It's what his name stands for, which is his character. Okay. So he always talks about his name, and you're going to see a lot of that today in our teaching. Yah's concerned about his reputation. He said, I could have wiped you completely out, but I haven't. That's why I said the Most High was playing games with him, because he could have done it. So you ask yourself, why did he keep just striking him and striking him and striking him, even though he knew that he would, not do what the Most High asked him? Why was he being so obstinate? What was the purpose behind this? And we're going to kind of dive into that a little bit today. Okay, so dealing with Yah's name is his shame, which is his reputation in his name. But we want to deal with the character of a lot of others people that were mentioned in the Torah this week. I don't expect anybody to be a Hebrew scholar, but I do want you to tell me, what name do you think that these letters represent? Who? What name?
Paro.
There you go. There you go. P for the pay, R for the Rosh, and then here it has a O, right? And then the A and the H. Okay, but it's really like Pharaoh, but it's really Paro. Okay, so is represented by these three letters, which are the pay, the Rosh, and the Ayin. Okay, so we're talking about his character. Stay with me. In Hebrew, the pay is what?
Mouth.
The pay is the mouth.
Pay is the mouth.
Perfect. And the mouth does something. It opens and it closes. Okay, that's what it does. But also, what does the mouth do? What's the function?
What's the function?
Thank you. Thank you. So the mouth speaks. Okay, so there we go. These two letters right here, this one here is called the head, and this one here is the eye. Okay, from its agricultural meaning. It's the head and it's the eye. It's the head of a man and it's the eye of a human being. Okay, the Ayin also too represents a well, which has to do with water. So when a person cries, water comes out of their wells. Okay, because in the ancient Hebrew, a well was a hole on the surface of the ground. Okay, you guys kind of follow what I'm saying? Is what they would call the, oh, what happened? Well, that was strange. Oh boy. Wow. Cheap. Just don't want to behave. Okay. Breaking my thought. This thing is so irritating, you guys. I don't know what's going on with it. Why is it doing this? Present, okay. All right, come on. Might have to just keep it in that. I'll just keep it in this mode for right now, so it won't do that. Can you see my screen? Maybe I can't do the full presentation.
Yes.
Okay. So at any rate, what it is that this right here is the mouth. This is the head. This is the eye. Okay. The mouth speaks. The head holds everything. It holds the ears, it holds the mouth, it holds the nose, and holds the eyes. Okay. So when you put these two letters together, a resh and an ayin, what do you have? If you can remember. What is that?
Ra, evil.
That's evil. Thank you. So when we talk about Paro, okay, and you talk about his name and the title, because that's what it is, the title. It is the one, it is the mouth that speaks evil. That's what Paro's title means. It's the mouth that speaks evil. That's what it speaks. It speaks evil. And if you notice in your Torah portion this week, how did he speak evil? Somebody tell me, what are some of the things that he said? What's evil?
I think he said that he didn't know who Yahweh was. Who was Yahweh?
And who is he to him?
Yeah.
Right. So we see that arrogance, right? So he had this arrogance about him. Okay. What else? He said that he was going to do something. Listen. Go ahead.
He equaled himself to Yah when they wanted to, because the Most High wanted them to go into the wilderness and serve him, to sacrifice to him. He made their work even harder. So he kind of like equaled himself to the Most High.
Mm-hmm. That's a great observation. So arrogance, he equaled himself. He made himself equivalent to the Most High. He actually said something. He made a promise, and then he what?
He didn't follow through. He lied that he would let them go.
He lied, and he broke his word. Every time he would get relief, he would say, "Okay, I'll do it," and then he turned around and not do it. So why is the Most High showing us this about this in particular person? Because he's not talking very much about Yisrael, if you notice, in first these chapters 6, 7, and 8, and 9. He's talking more about Paro. Okay, he did mention the children of Israel, and he said these are the heads of your families in chapter number 6, which we're going to go into a little bit later, probably when we get to the point where I need to talk about that. Okay, because he only mentions Reuben, Shimon, and Levi. He only mentioned them to tell you who the heads of the families were, the people that were in charge in Mitzrayim at that time, the leadership. Okay. Right now, the focus is on Paro. So the focus is on a person who speaks evil. So the person who speaks evil is a person who's arrogant. They're arrogant. They're lifted up and they're high. The person who's evil is the one who equivalates himself to the Most High, meaning that I don't have to follow what you asked me to do. Every time the Most High gave a command, he broke it. Every time he gave him a command, he turned around and said, yeah, I'll do it, but then he didn't do it. Who does that sound like?
The fallen one, I guess, Lucifer.
But also, too, it sounds like the children of Israel.
Oh, yes. Yes.
He said, he gave a command, yeah, we'll do it. So I'm going to show you something about the children of Israel and Pharaoh that match, okay? So he lied, he didn't keep his promises. He did confess on several occasions that he what? What did he say? What was his confession? He said, I sinned. And he said, what I've done is evil. He asked Moses to go and entreat and go and intercede on his behalf on several occasions. You see? And Moses told him to do this. Stop playing games with Yah. Yah's not just talking to Paro. Yah's talking to anybody that has enough arrogance about themselves when I give you a command that you won't do it. You tell me on one side of your mouth that you're going to do what I tell you, and then you don't follow up with it. Then you come back and say you're sorry. And Yah says, you better stop playing games with me because I'm going to bring judgment on you. Okay? I have 3 Hebrew words up here for you to write down if you'd like, if you choose to do so. One is called kotsar, one is called kazak, another one is called kavod. You're going to find out about this kotsar, this kazak, and this kavod. I'm going to explain each one of these words to you because they're very significant. So does everyone understand what we're talking about when we talk about Paro? It's the mouth that speaks evil. Paro is a title. It's not just a person, it's a title. It's a character trait because your name and your title is your character. It is your reputation. Yah is concerned about his reputation, and therefore you should be concerned about your reputation because your reputation is found inside of Yahweh's reputation. That's what we should be aware of. Okay, this is what we should be concerned about. Our reputation is found in Yahweh's reputation. If you're a set apart people and he's put his what on you? What did he say I put on you? I put my name on you. So if your character and doesn't line up and you mar the reputation, you think that you're just dealing with yourself. No, you're dealing with him. Remember, he says that I'm going to go ahead and make sure that everyone understands who I am. I want my name to resound through the earth. So he's done some things, and we're going to go to those things to show us why it's important to guard the reputation. Okay? Kotsar means this. Kotsar, I was reading the Torah and I said, okay, Moshe went to the children of Israel, right? This is after he went to the elders. So he went to Reuven, Shimon, and Levi. He went to those people first, okay? He gathered them and he was telling them what Most High did. They all bowed down and worshiped. Then, he went to Pharaoh. Pharaoh got the information. Pharaoh turned the heat up and said, let's increase the work. The foremen, who are the children of Israel from all the other tribes, they went to Pharaoh and was like, why are you doing this to your servants? And they were fed up. So when Moshe went to them, they had this, what they call kotsar. Kotsar means to be cut. Why is this going on? Cut short. Okay, this has to do with harvest. Okay, so at the harvest time, what they would do is they would cut a stalk. Okay, and they cut the stalk all the way down to the bottom. So when you have a stalk of grain, just going to do a little picture here. What they would do is they come in and they would chop it all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so there's the stalk right here. Here's the bottom of the stalk. And when they would cut it, it would leave just a little bit left. Okay, this little part right here. That means to be short. So this idea means to cut short. So what happened with the children of Israel is that their patience, their mindset, their personalities, how they got down was very short. They were very short with Moshe. They were very short with him. But Moshe was a representative of who? Who's Moshe representing? Who the Most High say you're going to be?
Most High say you're gonna be.
Yeah.
You're going to be like me.
You're gonna be like.
So the children of Israel were short with the Most High. Remember, Moshe was taking things personal. It was the Most High he was representing. So they were short with the Most High. Okay. So when he went to them, he told them what the Most High said about, this is my objectives. I'm going to bring you out. I've done this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do those things that we mentioned, the objectives. They were short. They didn't want to hear what the Most High had to say. Okay. They didn't want to hear anything he had to say. And this is the reason why Moshe said, well, if they're not going to hear what you have to say, then why would you send me to Paro? Why are you going to send me to him and the children of Israel won't listen? There's something significant about that. Okay. And I'm going to show it to you. Moshe said this to the people of Israel, but they wouldn't listen to him because they were so anguished, meaning they were so kosar, and their slavery was so cruel. They were so short. They didn't have the capacity. Okay. Talk about mental health. I know we have a lot of mental health professionals on here. This is a mental health issue. There was no way to reach them through conversation. Okay. Because everything was so terrible for them. They were at their end. Yes, Azania.
Just wanted to ask you, the picture that you have on the screen, Chica, what is that?
It's a abstract photo of a warrior.
Oh, okay.
With
Okay.
wings. Yeah, with wings.
Okay, Toda. Okay. All right.
So it's an abstract photo of a warrior with wings, because this represents war. I'll show it to you in a second.
Okay, Toda.
So here, they were anguished of their spirit. They were very short, okay? And where it was is in their lave. Somebody tell me what the lave is in Hebrew. What's your lave? If I said love, you would think about what?
Your heart, your
Your
mind.
heart.
Your heart.
Okay, a lot of you may have already know this, but we're going to go over it again because it's always good to go over things. So the shortness that they were having was in their lave, okay? And that's the lamed and then the bet, okay? They were having a shortness in this part of their lives, okay? And their constitution, who they are. So the first letter is the lamed. The next one is the bet, okay? What does the lamed mean?
Staff authority.
Staff,
Staff.
authority. Give me the word for, does it also mean to learn, remember?
Maybe.
Guide. Okay. It means, let me see. Yes, thank you, Dr. Kavika. It means to guide. Oh my goodness, what? Jeez. I'm sorry, you guys, this internet is like definitely tripping. Why is it doing this? Screen is load. Oh, it's loading. Something is wrong. I guess it just doesn't want me to get it, does it? They don't want you guys to get the lesson today. But that's not going to happen. They don't want you to get the lesson. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Toda, yes.
So the lamed has to do, sorry you guys for the interruptions. And I don't know if it might be just the internet. So we just got to deal with it because it's like delayed, and even when I move my thing, my little marker here, it doesn't even work. I just have to go through. I'm just going to have to speak it. All right. So the lamed and the bet represent the authority. For the lamed, it means to learn, and then the bet represents what? What is the bet? It's the 10. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So the law, which they would call your mind, okay, your heart, that means the authority within. And you get that from this first letter right here, the lamed, and then you get that from the next letter called the bet, okay? So you have to understand that the authority that you have is inside of you, which the authority that you use is coming from your mind. So because the children of Israel were so anguished and they were so sorrowful and they didn't have any capacity, they didn't have any ability to want to hear anything or to learn anything, okay? And they didn't want, there was no room inside of their mind for any additional talk. That's why when Moshe went to them, they were like, no, we don't want to hear, no. They refused. They refused to hear what he had to say because they didn't have any capacity. And that's usually when you run into people who have this type of mindset, because that's what a lav is. It's a mindset. So the mindset of the children of Israel was one of anguish and one of grief. And that's a mental health issue. Okay. They can't learn anything. When your mind is messed up, you can't absorb anything. You can't take anything. So this is the mindset that they had. Okay. They had the mindset of someone who just could not absorb anything. They're not willing to learn and willing to listen. When I think about that, I think about how people that you try to talk to right now, they don't want to listen. And you'd be thinking like, well, why not? Why don't you want to hear? Because they have a lot of other issues going on in their life where they don't have any capacity. They don't want to hear from the Most High. Okay. So this might be kind of a refreshing, lesson for us to understand that sometimes when the people you're trying to talk to and let them know what's going on, they'll tell you their problems, but then when you try to give them the solution, they don't want to hear about it, right? They don't want to hear what you have to say. So here, Moses said to Yahweh, look, the people of Israel haven't listened to me. They don't have any capacity to listen to me. So how will Pharaoh listen to me? I'm a poor speaker than I am. So what it is that the Most High is showing us that the children of Israel and Pharaoh have something in common. And somebody tell me, what do you think they have in common?
They don't listen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's how simple it is. It's not hard. We don't have to make this magical. It's the truth. That's how simple this is, that they won't listen. They don't have capacity to listen. Okay. But Pharaoh, so it's two different types of people. Yes, ignoring the Most High. Absolutely. They're ignoring what he's saying. He'll give a command. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. But we're showing you two different types of people. You got somebody who's completely in slavery, who's going through an angry spirit, who's being treated cruelly, have oppression, burdens, and all these sorts of things, being killed, no hope whatsoever. And then you have another person, a leader who has everything, right? Who doesn't have any capacity for the Most High, right? None whatsoever. So there is a direct connection between these two types of people. So the Most High is showing us when he looks at Israel and he sees a lot of the character that's in Pharaoh, that's in the children of Israel. And we see this throughout the Torah portions that we're not only in, but the ones we're going to go into. Is like every time he turned around and gave them a command, they would make up an excuse or even say, we're sorry and we'll not do it again, and all this sort of thing. So everything that they have become has been because of where they've been living and who has been their king and who's been their leader. Pharaoh and Yisrael are really like one and the same at this in particular moment. Okay. He says, but I will make him hard-hearted, even though I will increase my signs and wonders in the land of Mizraim. Again, Yahweh has a purpose and he has a destiny. And the word for hard-hearted means that I'm going to make him quasha, okay? And quasha is this idea of being stiff-necked, okay? So Yahweh continues speaking to Moshe. He said, I've been watching these people. Okay, this is talking about later on. He says, I've been watching these people, and you can see how quasha they are. Okay, and quasha, just to give you the agricultural background, quasha has to do with, I can't write, you guys. I'm so sorry. This device is not allowing me to write, so I just got to keep just talking, and hopefully you can take some notes. The part about being stiff-necked is this. That has to do with stiff-neckedness, has to do with a stalk of grain. Again, one is to cut the grain short, which is the kotzer. This is called quasha. So quasha has to do with a stalk of grain that's been cut, but then you have to tie the grain together. When you tie the grain together, it becomes what?
Stiff.
It becomes stiff because of how much what? What do you got to apply to make it tight? What do you have to apply?
You have to
You got to apply pressure.
You have to apply pressure.
Okay, so the pressure is what's causing them, right? So this pressure on their neck, listen, oh, praise be to the living Elohim. When you put something on somebody's neck for over 215 years, and they've been doing things the way they've been doing it for 215 years, is not going away, not overnight. Stiff-neckedness is not something that's just going to come off of your neck. You just can't go get a massage and it comes off. Do you understand? And there is a reason why the Most High is saying this and telling us about this stiff-neckedness, because he's letting us know that there was so much pressure on the necks of the people. When he talks about the necks, he's talking about with the loads that they were carrying. One of the biggest pressures that you have right now that you don't even realize is not only the yoke of slavery and oppression, but it's also that head that's sitting on top of your head, on top of your neck. Your head weighs what, 8 pounds? Is it weight about 8 pounds? What does it weigh? Somebody tell me.
3 pounds, I think.
3 to 4 pounds. That 3 to 4 pound bowling ball that's sitting on top of our bodies has a whole bunch of information in it, okay? And the more weight that you put on it, it causes it to become stiff-necked. The more burdens you have, the stiffer your neck has to be in order to hold the burden. I hope I'm making sense. So all the things that the children of Israel experienced over the 215 years, okay, along with some of the other things that they had, caused them to be this people. The same stiff-neckedness that you are witnessing here in chapter number 32, right, from what the Most High said about his people, these people, look how stiff-necked they are. Leave me alone so that my anger can blaze out against them and I can put an end to them. I will make a great nation out of you instead. This was something that the Most High wanted to do. He wanted to wipe these people out because of this. Because of the stiff-neckedness. Why would he be angry with them because they're stiff-necked and they've been there for 215 years? Why would he want to wipe them out? Just ask yourself the question. He said, let my anger blaze. Blaze has to do with fire. My anger is this hot displeasure. So I can put an end to them. Why does he want to put an end to these people? Why? Somebody tell me. Think about Paro.
They didn't listen. They didn't want to listen.
Their behavior, absolutely, their behavior was exactly the same as Paro's. That's my point. They were acting exactly the same. The Most High took them out of slavery in order to get rid of the what? What did he get rid of when he took them out of slavery? He said, I'm going to break the bond.
I'm going to break the bond.
To get rid of what? I'm going to get rid of the burden. You see? That's the reason why. So people ask themselves, well, why did he want to destroy them? It seems like the Most High had a temper problem. He just threw a tantrum. No, he didn't. he understood something like, okay, listen, I set you free, right? But I've been watching these people. I took all the burdens off of you. I opened you up. I took the yoke off your neck so you can stand uprightly. Now that you're standing uprightly, now that you got your relief, you're acting like Paro. You remember when he got his relief, he turned back and did exactly the same thing he did before. And that's what Yah is trying to let us know. Yah will give us some relief. Okay. When I give you relief, it's not so you can remain the same. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Isaiah 10 and 26. I was saying Isaiah 10 and 26. No, Isaiah 26 and 10. Though grace is shown to the wicked man, he does not learn righteousness. That one.
Praise Yah.
Right, yes.
Even if mercy and kindness and compassion is shown to the wicked, they still won't learn what righteousness is. Yah is taking the yoke off the neck of the people in order for them to stand uprightly so they can learn his ways. When you get the relief, you shouldn't turn back and remain the same. You have to embrace who you are and why you've been released. That's what Yah is trying to show us. So there's a lot of things that they had in common, that they were still acting like Paro. Because if you think about it, in the wilderness, which we'll go to later on in our teachings, when they were in the wilderness, what were they doing? According to this right here. What were they doing all the time?
What were they doing all the time?
Evil,
And how are they doing in dark?
Well, how were they doing in dark red?
golden calf. They were just stealing their ways from Mitzrayim, pretty much.
And were they using this right
Were
here?
they using this right here?
Yes.
They were
against
speaking
They
Moshe.
were
evil against Moshe and Aharon. When he spoke against Moshe, he says, who am I that you should speak against me? They're speaking against the Most High. So there's a lot of commonalities between Paro and the children of Israel. This is the reason why he made the statement that I could have wiped you out. Isn't this what he just said? Listen to this. Did he not just tell us, did he not tell Paro that I could have wiped you out? Okay, he doesn't want to go there. Okay. Remember our opening verse that said, I could have wiped you out. I could have dealt with you, but I haven't. I haven't dealt with you this way because of what? Because of my reputation. I want to make my name known. So when you think about when he just told the children of Israel that I could have wiped you out, right here, I'm trying to get you to see the picture. I just don't want to give you a beautiful presentation. I just want you to see the picture. He says, I have been watching these people. You can see how stiff-necked they are. Now leave me alone so that my anger can blaze up against them and I can put an end to them. Literally the same statement that he said about Paro, just in a different way. So what we see is that the Most High doesn't change. And we see that the Most High is not a respecter of persons. So if Yah didn't wipe us out, and somebody tell me, why didn't he wipe the children of Israel out?
Moshe, please.
What did Moshe say? What did Moshe say?
That the nation would, that the nations would think that it has something to do with the nations. I believe the nations would think that
You didn't have the power.
right, yes.
You didn't have the power, but also too, he said the nations saw you bring them out. And if you do this, then they would say that you brought them out here just to kill them because you didn't have the power to bring them in. So obviously, the nations had an understanding of what Yah's intentions were. You see? Did he go out and verbalize and tell the world? He told Mitzrayim what he was going to do. So Yah is making the announcement for the world. That's why the story is here, everyone. The story is here because that story is supposed to make a proclamation to the world about what Yah is going to do. Yah tells us the end from the beginning. Okay? So just like he wants to, I could have wiped Pharaoh out and his family and everybody, but I didn't do it for the sake of my reputation. it is exactly the same thing that he says about the children of Israel. The word Kazakh has this idea behind, I wish my pen can write. I'm sorry, you guys. Forgive me for the apologies. I just, you know, it's hard to function if you can't function the way that you're used to functioning. You know what I mean? Like, I'm used to writing, I'm used to sharing, I'm used to doing all kind of stuff. And I can't do it. I'm a little frustrated. But at any rate, I could just underline. But this word right here, this Kazakh, okay? The ket, the zayin, and the kof means to take hold and to grab. That's what it means. It means to grab hold of, okay? It means to be very strong, very, very powerful, okay? That's why when you see the word, there it is. Kazakh, okay? So a ket, a zayin, and a kof, okay? It means to take hold of and to grab hold of. And so what we find in our Torah portion is this idea of Yah's hand, okay? One of the prophets has this word in their name. Somebody tell me, what prophet is it? If you know. And if you don't know, it's fine.
You don't know,
Is
it's
it
fine.
Ezekiel?
There you go,
There
Dr.
it is.
Red. Is Ezekiel. He's a Navi. That's what a prophet is called. A prophet is called a Navi, okay? A Navi. I'm mentioning these terms to you because you're going to learn it. You got, the more you see it and the more someone tells you, it is stick. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't, but you always have to know it. So a Navi is a prophet. So you're absolutely correct. The prophet that the Most High directed us to during this week was Yechezkel. If you look at the bottom of your screen right quick, there's the Kaf, the Ket, the Zadi, and the Kof right here. See that? CH, Z is the Zayin, and the Q is the Kof. Okay, and then you have L on the end, right with my finger. And then you have this Yod right here, which is he. So what is this really saying? If Kazakh is grab hold and strength, what is it telling us? What does his name mean? First letter, Yod is he. And Kazakh grabs hold with strength, right? And what's L?
Power.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
grabs hold of power. Okay, so it could be either he's grabbing hold of power or the power grabs him. See, if you translate it this direction, it means he grabs hold of power. Okay, if you translate it this direction, it means that power grabs him. Okay, him. You see that? So it goes both ways. So what it is the Most High is letting us know through this in particular Navi, this prophet right here, that the Most High's intention is to grab. But he also wants us to grab hold of him, okay? That's why when you read the book of Ezekiel, you should be thinking about Yah grabbing hold or you grabbing hold of him. It says, Supreme Master Yahweh says, okay, just like when he's talking to Pharaoh, he says this. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, you guys. Supreme Master says, once I have gathered the house of Israel from the peoples among whom they are scattered, once I have shown my set apartness in them as the going what? As the going watch. Okay. So I'm going to show something. I'm going to show my set apartness. And that has to do with his name. Okay. And he says, because that's because Elohim is not a man. What's the most significant part about the Most High is his words, is about what he says, because what he says has to do with his reputation. Okay. So everything he says has to do with his reputation. When he said, I promise to give you land and descendants, that had to do with his reputation. When he gives a command, it has to do with his reputation. Whatever we do can go against his reputation. Okay. So once I have gathered the house of Israel from the peoples from among whom they are scattered. Once I have shown, because that's the goal, I'm shown my set apartness, my kadoshness, my holiness in them as the Goyim watch, just like I did before, like I did in Mizraim. Then they will live in their own land, which I gave to my servant Yaakov. Because remember, the goal is to bring us to our own land. That's where it's at. It's for us to live there, not heaven, to live in the land. But he says, I need the Goyim as they're going to watch me do this. Just like Mizraim watched you leave, all the nations are going to watch you too when I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So this has to do with my reputation. Again, the term I told you earlier was called Ani Yahweh, right? That means I am Yahweh. They will live, this is a continuation, they will live securely when, okay, they will have security, when they live there. Where? In their land. Building houses, planting vineyards, yes, they will live in safety. That's salvation, okay? Living in safety is salvation, okay? I have executed judgments against all their contemptuous neighbors, okay? Then they will know that I am Ani Yahweh, their Elohim. So it's not until Yah does this, remember that the nations and the Goyim will see it, and it's not until I bring you back, it's not till I execute judgments that people are going to know who I am. So that's part of what it is. That's the war. That's why I'm telling you that war has to come. And because I have to grab hold, anytime Yah extends his hand, what he's saying is I'm extending my power. Because what? Ani Yahweh. Say it. Ani Yahweh. Ani Yahweh. I scattered them among the nations. I dispersed them through the countries. I judged them, right, in keeping with their manner of life and actions. When they came to the nations that they were going, they profaned. And I left it there as holy so you can see my name, my reputation. So that people said of them, these are Yahweh's people, whom have been exiled from this land. That's in Ezekiel or Yechezkel 36:19 through 20, right? So again, this war and this extending of his hand and this grabbing has to do with something. I scattered them. I'm letting you know why I did what I did. But the one who scattered with his hand is the same one who's going to gather with his hand, because I need Yahweh. I'm Yahweh. This is what Yahweh's intention is, okay? But I'm concerned about my holy name, meaning my reputation, which the house of Israel is profaning among the nations where they have gone. Therefore, tell the house of Israel that the supreme master Yahweh says this: I'm not going to do this for your sake, house of Israel, but for the sake of my kadosh name, which you have been profaning among the nations where you went. I'm not going to come and get you because of any good that you have done. It's because of my reputation. It's because of what I said. That's the only reason why I'm coming to get you, okay? I need Yahweh. I am Yahweh. I will set apart or kadosh my great name. See, it's about his name, is his Shemka, right? To be regarded as kadosh, because that's what I'm concerned with, since it has been profaned in the nations. You profaned it among them. The nations will know that I am Yahweh as the supreme master Yahweh when before their eyes. As I've been telling you this week, Yah says, I'm going to show you. Okay? So the kadoshness about me and my reputation and my great name has to do with me showing everybody something in their eyes. They have to see it. That's why I gave you eyes. It's so that you can see. For I am set apart through you to be regarded as kadosh. Okay? So my set apartness, right? I am Ani kadosh through you. You see? So I'm going to use you to bring about this kadoshness. And the way that I separate things in terms of that which is clean and unclean and kadosh and what they call tameh is through fire. That's how I do it. If I'm going to purify you, I'm going to purify you through fire. Okay? So I'm going to do something to show the world, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it before their eyes. They're going to see what I'm going to do for you. Just like Mizraim saw, they're going to see. Okay. Why? Because I need Yahweh. I am Yahweh. That's the reason why he revealed his name. Thus will I display my glory, my kavod among the nations, so that all the nations will see. Because I want them to know me. They're going to see my judgment when I execute it in my hand, which is that kazak right there, when I lay it on them. On who? I'm going to lay my hand in judgment on the nations. That's the reason why I chose Mizraim. They were my first one. They were my first ones to go through. So when you put the story together, the Most High scattered us to all the four corners of the earth in order to bring judgment on the whole entire earth. You weren't just scattered because you broke Yah's law, statutes, and commandments. He had a greater purpose and a greater plan. You and I are just part of the plan. We're not the plan. We're part of the plan. That's why he doesn't like that arrogance that we have when we think that the world surrounds around us, and it doesn't. It's around him. It's about his name. And if you and I would start understanding this, we would know that the only reason why the Most High is going to do anything is because of his reputation. Okay? So when he says, I'm going to display my glory, you can look in Ezekiel chapter number 1 and 2, and you'll see what Yahweh's glory looks like. It's beautiful, but it's also covered in fire. It also has brimstone, okay? So that all the nations will see my judgment when I execute it in my hand, when I lay it on them, because that's what my intentions are. From that day on, the house of Israel will know that I am Ani Yahweh. That's what I am Yahweh means. Ani Yahweh, their Elohim. So anytime you hear Yahweh says Ani Yahweh, he's letting you know that I'm the one who's going to bring judgment. That's why your ancestors didn't know me. They knew me as El Shaddai. They didn't know me as Ani Yahweh. Now you're getting to know me, and you're going to know me through this. Not only are you going to know me, but the nations are going to know me. While the Goyim, which are the nations, will know that the house of Israel went into exile because of their guilt, because they broke faith with me. So I hid my face from them and handed them over to their adversaries. And they fell by the sword, all of them. Yes, I treated them as their uncleanness and their crimes deserved. I hid my face from them. Yeah. Why? Because I am Yahweh. Therefore, Supreme Master Yahweh says this. If you notice, he uses the term Supreme Master when you talk about Yechezkel, because Yahweh is saying that you and I have to understand the importance of this in particular title. Yah is the master of all masters. That's what Adonai means. Okay. In your Bibles, you would see Adonai and you would think, well, that just means Lord. Well, it means master of masters. It's a plurality. It's master of masters. It is a supreme master. Okay. And if he's a master, then there must be servants. So therefore, when Yah is talking to us through Yechezkel, the supreme master Yahweh says this: now I will restore the fortunes of Yaakov and have compassion on the entire house of Israel. And I will be jealous for my what? My Kadosh name. My set apart name, my character, my reputation. They will bear their shame, okay, and all their guilt from breaking faith with me. Now, I left this here. Let me finish it. Once they are living securely in their land with no one to make them afraid. I left this here. They will bear their shame and all their guilt from breaking faith with me. But prior to that, he says, I'm going to restore them. So this might give you a little confusion, like, well, if you restored us and you're bringing compassion on us, then why are you still bearing your shame and your guilt? Why are they doing that? Well, English is a terrible language. Okay. English is not telling you what it really says. He is not saying they will. Okay. It means they have bared their shame. They won't. Right now, we're bearing the shame now while you're in the nations. You're not going to bear your shame when Yahweh restores your fortunes to you. That's contradictive. It doesn't line up to how he says this. Okay. So in the Hebrew, it says that it's in the past tense, because right now you are bearing your shame. That's why I've scattered you. Because in context of chapter number 39, he says, I hid my face from you. Why? Because you're bearing the shame. Why? Because you've been profaning my name. But now I will be jealous for my Kadosh name. It's always about Yahweh's name, okay, which is his reputation. So that's why he's going to war. Why? Because I need Yahweh. This will be after, okay, so we're still in the same chapter. This is 39, 25, and 26. This is 39, 27, and 29. So this is a continuation of what we just read. This will be after what? After what? I have brought them back from the peoples and gathered them from their enemies. That's when I'm going to restore your fortunes, okay? When I bring you back and I gather you with what? A strong hand. That's what I'm going to gather you with this Kazakh quail, okay? I'm going to gather you out of the lands, your enemies' lands, thereby being what? Consecrated, set apart through them in the sight. See, I'm still in the book of Yechezkel, but he's still using the same phrase that I am going to bring you out and I'm going to be consecrated through the sight, through the eyes of the nations. Then they will what? Then they will know. Remember earlier this week, we talked about what? Forgive me, I'm writing with my finger. We talked about yada. And what does yada mean? What does yada mean?
Does it mean to know?
It means to know.
It means to know.
Have an
It
intimate
means to have an intimate
relationship with, okay? This thing is, forgive me, this is like one of the worst little times that I'm having because I don't know how to mentally deal with it. But let me, because I feel like I owe you the best for today because today is the Shabbat. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. So back on this. So what he's saying is, I'm going to bring them out in the eyes of the nations. And you need to understand the plan, okay? Then they will yada. Then they will know that I'm Yahweh. That's when they're going to be intimate with me because I am Yahweh. I need Yahweh, okay? They're Elohim because that's the promise that I made to their ancestors because I'm keeping my word because my word is my reputation. And since it was I who caused them to go into exile among the nations, I did this. And it was I, okay, I caused it. I am the one, right? I who regathered them to their own land. So if I'm the one who put you out, I'm the one who's going to bring you back. I will leave none of them there anymore. That includes all the rebels. I'm not leaving anybody. I will no longer hide my face from them, for I have poured out my spirit on the house of Israel, says the Supreme Master Yahweh. Okay. And you don't get his spirit until you're what? Until I restore you. You're not going to get his spirit until what? Until I cleanse you. You're not going to get his spirit until he regathers you. You're not going to get his spirit until these people in the sight of the many nations see that I've been consecrated through you. So I'm using you for my consecration. I'm using you as the example of what not to do. I'm using you an example to show my mercy and my compassion. I'm using you to show that I'm not going to let anybody get away with anything. I'm using you to show the world that I do forgive and I do love and I have mercy on those who what? Who love me and keep my commandments. I'm using you. You're part of my plan. You see, because I am Yahweh. I'm Ani Yahweh. The last word we have here is kavod. Okay. Kavod has this idea of wealth. And I mention it because it talked about how Paro had this type. Not only did he have great wealth, we know that when he had wealth, that wealth was passed down to him, and more than likely from his father's father. Remember, it said didn't know Yosef. You guys remember what happened in the Torah portion where Yosef gained all the wealth of the land of Mizraim? Do you remember that?
Yes, so remember you're asking what specifically happened?
Well,
The entire Kodesh?
yeah, what did Paro get in Yosef's time? What did he get from all the land of Mizraim and all the land of Canaan? What did he get from them?
I believe he gave him some of the best, the choicest land in Egypt, correct?
Yeah, but what did Joseph collect from all the land of Mitzrayim and all of the land of Canaan? What did he collect from them? When they were
Taxes.
starving and they didn't have any money, I mean, any food, what did they give?
I think it's the lamb.
Based on themselves.
Yeah, number one, they gave them the land. They gave them money. They all the wealth. Okay, all the wealth of the land of Mitzrayim. I get some feedback, you guys. I'm sorry. All the wealth of the land of Mitzrayim, they gave to Pharaoh. Okay, they gave it to Joseph to get a Pharaoh. All the silver and the gold, they gave to Pharaoh. They gave it to him. He was very wealthy. He was full of kavod. And this is the reason why he was treating the children of Israel the way that he was. And this is the way he had that arrogance that he had with the Most High, is because of his kavod, okay, because of his wealth. Kavod also too has an extended meaning as well, to mean weight. The weight in gold, the weight in silver. He had all the animals. He had everything, okay? Very weighty. That's what kavod means. So wealth, weight. Kavod also has to do with importance, right? So if you have kavod, you have some great importance about yourself. You really believe that you're important. And last but least, kavod has to do with this idea of respect, okay? And so the question is like, well, where does this all come from? Because the terms that I mentioned to you are all abstract terms. And you can't really put them, you know, if I say, where does respect come from? It could be depending on who you think it is. You know, some people respect those and we're dignitaries. Some people respect those in authority. Some people don't. Some people respect world leaders and some people don't. Some people think people are important. Some people don't. It just depends. So these terms that I'm using right here, like weight, wealth, those are abstract terms, right? Those are like Western ideas. So what do I need to do in order to turn this into something that you can understand, right? So wealth, weight, importance, and respect. Well, it's what they call a sheresh, a root. There's a root to this, okay, which I want to share with you. I want to teach you about the root of this word, kavod. Kavod's root has to do with these two letters called a kof and a bet. Okay, kof and a bet. Kof and a bet. The kof is this, right with my fingers, so forgive me. And the bet is this. Okay, so it's really called kab, right? Because in Hebrew, you know, it'd be written like kavad. So we see the two root letters right here, a kof and a bet. That's the root. That's what you would call a sheresh, okay? And a sheresh means, so let's break it down. So if you know your Hebrew, what does the kof mean from an agricultural standpoint? What does it mean? If you can remember.
The hand.
Yes. It's literally the palm of the hand. Okay, because your hand is your yod. Okay, that's the yod. So this is the palm of the hand. Okay, and the bet. What is the bet? The bet is the tent or the home or the family, right? And it has to do with the idea or the function to go inside, okay? So it's the palm of the hand. What does the palm do? What could it do? What can you use it for?
It holds.
It'll hold something, yes, but also is used to cover. Okay, so it'll hold a seed where you can open it, right? So there's many functions of the palm. Well, the one that is being used here is called a cover. Because you can take your palm and you can cover something with it, cover anything, a stone, a jewel, you can cover your mouth, you can cover your eyes, you can cover your nose. Okay. So this word kav has to do with covering the house. Okay. So in the ancient times, the bet, which is called the home, is called a tent. Okay. It's a tent. So when he lived in the tents, did it rain?
Yes.
Yes, it did. So they had to provide some type of covering on top of the tent in order for the water not to go through. So what did they use? What do you think they would use to cover the tent?
Maybe another piece of tent or cloth.
Good. You're getting there. It's a cloth, some type of covering, right? So what did they what kind of animals did they deal with?
Sheep, goats,
Yeah,
cattle.
yeah. All right. So we know that so they use some type of covering as a skin. Okay. So you have to use some type of skin as a covering. Okay. And so, the skin, and sometimes, so they use skins. Okay. And sometimes those skins that they had, they use for clothing and stuff like that. But also too, they would leave some of what they would call, I'm writing with my finger. That's why I'm taking so long. They would use goat hair. Okay, they would use goat hair. My finger's tired, so I'm just going to put goat. They would put goat hair over the top of the tent. Okay, with its, they put the goat hair over the top. Okay, and that's why it looked all bushy and stuff. Okay, so they put the goat hair over it. When they put the goat hair over it, and they would look outside, up when they were laying down, there would be these little holes inside the goat hair. There's little voids that they could see when you're looking up. They're laying down, looking up, and you see these little holes in the little goat hairs. And they would look like what? What do you think those little goat hairs would look like? The little spaces. What do you think it looked like when you were looking up?
Stars.
Thank you. You're there. So they would look at that goat hair and they would look like stars. A lot of different stars. Okay. The word kav has to do with the word kokavim, which has to do with the stars. That's why the word kavad or kavod has to do with abundance, or has to do with wealth, or has to do with weight, or has to do with importance, or has to do with respect. Another word I didn't have on there was honor. Okay. So kavad's root has to do with the stars. When it would rain, the goat hair would swell up and close, and no water would get in. So now you have a water repellent tent. Pretty ingenious, right? So on one point, it looks like you could look up and see the stars and little lights coming through. And then when it would rain, the goat hairs would swell up, and then the water would just roll right off. And that's how they were able to do that. So kavad comes from stars. So when we talk about, now we can go back. When we're talking about the stars, now that you understand what it means, now that you know what it means, when you think about the wealth, what did the Most High say he was going to do for Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov? What did he say? I'm going to make your descendants like what?
Your descendants like what?
Like the stars.
Stars of the sky.
Make them like the stars. And I'm going to make the descendants of Dawid and the descendants of Lewi to be like the stars where you can't count them. So what's the true wealth? What's the true wealth at?
And the numbers.
And your numbers of who?
Descendant.
Of your descendants, which are your what? Starts with an F.
Family.
Thank you. I want everybody to say that. Your true wealth is in your family. That's where your wealth is. The weight of everything around you, the weightiness of something, because weight has to do with value, is in your family. The importance of you is not how important you are, it's how important your family is to you. That's why our ancestors have done everything that they have done, Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. Okay, that's why they were very weighty. That's why they were very wealthy. See, because remember, Abraham said, what is all this? What is all this wealth? What is all this land? What does all this mean to me if I don't have a what? If I don't have a descendant? You see? So it's the wealth and it's the weight and it's the importance of the family. It's the respect of the family. That's where the honor comes in. Okay? So that's the meaning of the kavod. You see? So we're only able to find that out, not by abstract terms, but understanding agricultural terms. We can better understand what the Most High's idea is. But also, too, there are some examples. The Most High has said in the Torah portion this week that he made Pharaoh's heart heavy, because weight means heavy, and that means kavod as well. Not only did he make his heart hard, but he also put a lot of weight on him. He made his mind. That's what his heart is, his mind. He made him believe that he was more than what he was. He made him believe that he was more important than what he was. Do you understand? He understood what it was, okay? This man didn't have any respect. He only respected himself, okay? So the Most High has allowed this to happen. Here's some examples, okay? I put these examples up here to kind of let us walk through them, okay? So when we talk about the stars and we talk about the wealth and the weight, the importance and the honor and the respect, okay? These are the different individuals that this word is applied to, okay? In honor and respect and wealth and greatness. I'm going to ask a question and you tell me, because if you read the Torah, you'll know this. How did Yah receive respect and honor and weightiness about his name with these individuals? What did he do?
Show the good ones.
Cause them to respect him.
Yeah, but what did he do to these individuals? How did he receive honor by them? What did he do to them? At the end, what did he do?
He killed them
He absolutely killed them. Where did he kill them, Fanta?
in the river, the water,
He killed them in the Red Sea.
the sea. Yeah.
You understand? So Yah received glory, because that's what kavod also means. It not only means honor, but it means glory. He received glory through the death of these individuals, because they were super wealthy and great and weighty. Remember, his army was vast. They were huge, okay? So Yah takes that, which is, what I'm saying is kavod for kavod, glory for glory. The Most High took the highest individual he could and the greatest army that he could, and he brought them out to destroy them, so he would take away their glory and he would receive their glory, because he doesn't share his glory with no one else, okay? Abraham, it says that kavod is wealth, weight, importance, and respect. What did the Most High give to Abraham through his possessions? What did he give him? When they took Sarah,
The land and descendants.
yeah, he gave him descendants, but also too, he gave him possessions before he gave him those descendants. So he gave him cattle, he gave him silver, he gave him donkeys, he gave him goats, sheep, gold. Remember, he received a lot of kavod. He was very important. Okay, so you can see Yah has distributed honor upon Abraham through the possessions that he had. Okay, so we can see that. Also, too, you can see here Sodom and Gomorrah. So we can see that kavod has to do with I'm going to kill, right? There's death. Okay. But also, too, tell me about Sodom and Gomorrah. What was kavod about them? What was heavy about them? What was so heavy with them? What was heavy that the Most High said is heavy? I got to do something about it. Is weighty. What kind of kavod did they have? What do they have?
They were very prideful.
They were very prideful, but he said their sin has come up to me. So what do I got to do?
Wipe them out.
I got to go down and I got to go wipe them out because the weightiness of their sin. So sin can be kavod. You can have a weight of sin on you. So you can have a kavod in honor and wealth. You can have a kavod in sin. You can try to take. You could be kavod in respect of yourself and your power. And Yah deals with that. So there's many different ways. I'm bringing this out because I want you to see that kavod works in a lot of different ways. Okay. Statement number 5 of the 10 words. What's that? What is that? What's kavod about that? You know the 5th word of the 10 words? You shall what? Your father and your mother. What?
Honor.
You shall honor. That word honor means kavod. So I'm looking for kavod in what? In the family. I'm looking for that in obedience. I'm looking for that in honor of your parents. Because if you don't do this, then you're not bringing kavod to me. Do you understand? Abraham received his kavod because of Yahweh. Pharaoh and his army had their kavod because of Yahweh, but then they try to replace Yahweh. And they got haughty, and they got, their hearts were this way. The Most High made it. Honor your mother and your father. Give kavod to your mother and father. What does that mean? Somebody tell me. Why is he telling you to give kavod to your mother and father? What are you supposed to hold heavy? What is heavy from your father and your mother? What's the weight? What is the things that your father and mother are saying to you? What's weighty? It's their words. Kavod about their words and their commands. He's telling us that we have to hold the heaviness of the words of our parents. Because the parents are supposed to what? They're supposed to teach the children about the Most High. And so if a person is not listening to their parents and they're not obeying their parents and they're not holding their words heavy, Yah says that now you have robbed me of my glory. I'm going to judge you for this. Judgment comes for this. Okay. So kavod right here can be a bad thing if someone's not doing, but also could be a wonderful thing. Okay. Honor your mom and your father and your mother. Why do you think I have liver here? What does liver have to do with kavod?
The innards.
The liver is the heaviest organ that you have in your body. Is the heaviest of all organs that you have. Okay? The internal organs is the heaviest. So when the Most High asked for those animals to be brought to him and he asked for the liver, what is he asking for? According to what we understand what kavod is. I'm asking you for the liver because I'm looking for respect. I'm looking for, you consider me to be important. I'm looking for the weightiness, the heaviness of everything. I'm looking for the wealth, all to be given to me. I'm looking for the glory. One last thing, I didn't have it on this list. There's a day that's full of kavod. And what day is that?
Day of Atonement?
That's good. Let's just say you got 7 days during the week. Which day is the one that's a kavod?
The Shabbat.
Shabbat.
The Shabbat. When Yad gave blood to the children of Mizraim to drink, he gave them for 7 days to drink. 7 days. The reason why Yah turned the heat up on them and he made their, and also the word kavod means severe. The reason why he made their punishments more severe is because the more severe that Paro, got, his mind became, the more serious and the more severe the actual judgments got. Okay.
Excuse me, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Did you just say that Yah gave the children of Israel blood to drink?
No, I said Mizraim.
Ah, gotcha.
No, Mizraim. Mizraim. Yes. Thank you for allowing me to clarify. So now we see what this war is about. Okay. I want to talk to you briefly about what they would call the deified man, because that's what Paro was. Where did Moshe go talk to him mostly at? Most High told Moshe to get up early in the morning. And where did he tell him to go?
Top of the mountain.
When he's dealing with Pharaoh, I need you to go meet Pharaoh. Where I want you to go meet him at? Where did he tell him to go? Where was Pharaoh hanging out at early in the morning?
The river? Having a bath?
Yes, he was hanging out at the Nile. There's a reason why, folks. So let me share with you. I want to talk to you about this deified man, okay? The Most High says in book of Yechezkel again, human being, turn your face against Paro, the king of Mizraim. Prophesy against him and against all Egypt. Speak out and say that the Supreme Master Yahweh says, I am against you, Paro, king of Mizraim, you big crocodile, lying in the streams of the Nile. You say, the Nile is mine. I made it for myself. So in our Torah portion this week, we were not able to see this. We were not able to see this, okay, because it didn't specify. But the Most High is using Yechezkel to tell us how the pharaohs think. Every pharaoh that has come into power has thought that they were God, and they thought that they're the ones who are over agriculture. He said that the Nile is his, and that's where all the sources of life come from, is through the water, you see. So that's why Yah turned it to blood. This is the reason why he brought the frogs out of the Nile. This is the reason why he chose to use the insects. This is the reason why he's brought upon the wild animals. This is why he's brought the diseases, is because Pharaoh and every other one of those men were deified. in these people's eyes. That's why he was always at the Nile River, because he believed that he was the creator over the Nile. So he deified himself, and he was setting himself above the Most High. I bring this out because this is part of the war package. This is the reason why Yah is bringing war. Yah is bringing war to the nations because of this. Listen, Yah says this in Yashayahu chapter number 34, verses 1-3. Come close, you nations, and listen. Pay close attention, Min Shema, you peoples. Let the earth hear and everything in it, the world with all it produces. For Yahweh is angry at every nation. Yahweh is angry at every nation, furious with all their armies. He has completely destroyed them, handed them over to slaughter. Their slain will be thrown out. The stench will rise from their corpses, and the mountains will flow with their blood. Listen, when we looked at our Torah portion this week, after Yah did the judgments that he did, there was the stench that was in that land. You understand? The Most High has given us the story of Mizraim to tell us about what he's going to do to the world. Mizraim is a picture of the greatness of the world and the nations. The nations have now deified a man. I told you that the reason why the Most High went to war with Mizraim is to let them know that I'm going against every last one of your gods, because you are going around saying that someone else exists, and you're trying to steal away my glory. I'm letting you know that I'm bringing war against every nation, everyone in the world. And what I'm going to do it is I'm going to slaughter them, and their slain will be thrown out, and the stench of that will rise from the corpses, just like the stench of the frogs, just like the stench of the blood, the stench of all that. Now their blood is going to flow. It is going to flow from the mountains. This is why I promise. This is the reason why I did what I did in Mizraim. This is the reason why I let Pharaoh live. It's because I'm telling the world what I'm going to do. I'm also going to put Israel on notice. When that time comes, says Yahweh, I will be the Elohim of all the clans of Israel. Well, what time comes? The day that I'm telling you about. I will be Elohim of all the families, all the clans of Israel, and they will be my people. Again, this is the reason why he said that he went to war the first time. Here is what Yahweh says. Remember, everything he says, he's saying it in a perfect tense. It means that it's done. The people are escaping the sword, found favor in the desert. I brought Israel to its rest. So the people of Israel, just like in our Torah portion, that they're going to be my people, are going to be distinguished from the rest of the people, the rest of the world. And when I talk about distinguished, even those who join themselves with them, I'm going to set them apart from everybody else in the world, because I'm coming to kill everybody, just about. I'm going to leave some people, who's going to be somebody, I'm going to leave somebody behind to go and tell of my glory. Okay? But Israel is going to escape the sword because they found favor, they found grace in the desert, because that's where I'm bringing them. I have brought Israel to its rest. Okay? Just like I brought them out of Mizraim and I had to do sword judgments before that, I'm going to do the same thing. The only people that are going to escape this is those who are in Israel, just like the ones who escaped the death of the firstborn, those who escaped their animals being killed, those who escaped the darkness of Mizraim, those who escaped. I'm going to let them escape. Okay? Because that's coming. Yah uses the term Wayera. Wayera means, and he appeared. So Yah is letting us know through this Torah portion, I'm coming and I'm going to appear. Now, this next time that I show myself, I'm going to tell you what I told Yirmiyahu. From a distance, Yahweh Wayera, he appeared to me, saying, and Yirmiyahu is speaking on behalf of the nation of Israel, and he says, I love you with an everlasting love. This is why in my grace I have drawn you to me. Okay? So while everyone else is being killed, because in chapter number 30 we went over, remember this is 31, we went over the day of trouble. not Jacob's trouble, but the trouble for the world. Yah says, I love you. I love you with an everlasting love. So when we look at this and we understand this, he said, I'm going to draw you to me. That was the reason why he came to Israel in the first place. This is the reason why he made war with Mizraim. This is the reason why he appeared to our fathers. This is the reason why he's going to appear to us. It's to let you know that I love you. I've already told you that I'm coming to kill everybody. I already told you earlier this week that I'm coming to make war against the nations. I'm telling you today that I'm angry at every single nation. I'm telling you that you're going to escape. But what I'm also telling you is that I love you. And this is the reason why I'm going to appear. Because this is why you found grace in my sight, is because I'm going to draw you to me. That's why I came to Mizraim. And that's why I'm coming to you to the four corners of the earth. And once again, I will build you and you will be rebuilt, virgin of Israel. You're a virgin because you decided to go away from that which is idolatry. Because the first time I came to get your ancestors, they wouldn't let go of their gods. They wouldn't obey my laws, my statutes, and my commandments. They wouldn't keep my Shabbat according to Ezekiel chapter number 20. They wouldn't do anything I asked them to do. They wouldn't abandon their ways. They wouldn't, since I took the burden off their neck, they wouldn't stand up straight. They didn't have the courage. They didn't have the capacity. They were very short with me. That's what they were. They didn't have any tolerance for nothing I said. But now I'm showing up again and I'm appearing unto you to draw you to me because I love you. I want you to know that Wayera means that I love you. I'm appearing to you because I'm showing you mercy and grace. And again, with your tambourines that you had when you came out of Mizraim the first time, when you were dancing after you went through the Red Sea and I killed every one of Pharaoh and his army, and you were dancing, you were celebrating, you're going to get them tambourines in your hand again. And you're going to sing. And guess what? When I bring you out, and you're going to dance with merrymakers when I bring you out, because that's the only reason why I'm showing up. It's because I love you and because I want you to celebrate, because I asked Pharaoh to release you and to send you away so that you could come out and you could dance. I told him to send you away so that you could celebrate and come to a cog and a festival. I told him that, but he didn't want to send you. Nobody wants to send you. They don't want you to get away from them. They want you to become like them. Okay? But I want you to know something, that you are my slaves. You're my slaves in whom I brought out of the land of Mizraim. Therefore, you are not to be sold as slaves. You were supposed to have never been sold as a slave, because there's a Torah and there's a command that says anybody that took any of my people and bought any of my people, even when my people went into debt, no one's supposed to ever be a slave again, because you're my slaves. I'm going to be your king. You're my slave. You belong to me. That's why I brought you out of the land of Mizraim. I'm your master. And you have to accept this. This is your destiny, is to be my servant, to be my slave, because I'm the one who brought you out. I don't ever want you to forget that, because that's Yahweh's signature. For to me, the people of Israel are slaves. They are my slaves, whom I brought out of the land of Mizraim. Ani Yahweh. I am Yahweh, your Elohim. That phrase, I am Yahweh, is right there. That's the reason why I came, is because I love you, because I didn't want you to be a slave under those burdens. I wanted to set you free so you can stand upright. I wanted you to serve me. That's why I kept asking Pharaoh to send you out so you could be my servant, to serve me. I didn't want your mind to be broken. I didn't want you working every day of your life. I didn't want your life to be full of grief and sorrow. I didn't want them killing your descendants. I didn't cause you to be this forever, but I let you go through it so I can save you, so I can be your savior. This is my signature. My signature is Ani Yahweh. I'm the one. I'm your master. You are my slave. As I live, says the Supreme Master Yahweh, I swear that with a mighty hand, a kazak, And without a stretched out arm, with poured out fury, I myself will be king over you. Pharaoh has been king over you. You learned his ways. Others have been kings over you, and now a servant of tyrants. That's who's ruling you now. Tyrants are ruling you. People that put bondage on you, people who put burdens on you, people that are squeezing every dime and nickel out of you every time they get a chance. Every time you turn around, somebody's squeezing you for something else. If they're not squeezing you on from a state level, they're squeezing you from a local level. They're squeezing you in businesses. They're squeezing you on tax. They're squeezing you on gas. They're squeezing you on food. They're squeezing you on savings. They're squeezing you in education and loans. They're squeezing you. But I'm going to take my mighty hand and my stretched out arm, and I'm introducing you to something I didn't introduce to the children of Israel before, that you're going to be able to see with your own eyes. I'm going to pour out fury now. When Yah did the work that he did in Mizraim, he did with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm. Now he adds this term, poured out fury. Yah is going to snap. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He's about to snap, okay? And when he comes, there's going to be bloodshed, and there's going to be death, and there's going to be judgment, and there's going to be a cry that we talked about. This idea of Kazakwa right here is the same as Kazak. It's that mighty hand. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring it as I've done before, and that's the reason why I'm sharing it with you this week in the Torah portion, because I want you to know what I'm going to do. My Kazakwa means I will bring you out from the peoples, and I will gather you from out the countries where you were scattered with a Kazakwa, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and poured out fury. Then I will bring you into the desert of the peoples, and I'm going to judge you face to face, just as I judged your ancestors in the desert in the land of Mizraim. So I will judge you, says the Supreme Master Yahweh. I'm going to be your king. But when I bring you out, I'm bringing you out to judge you. That's what I'm bringing you out to do. I'm bringing you out to find out, like your ancestors, whether or not you were willing to do what I said. That's my purpose of appearing unto you. That's the purpose of the war. That's the purpose of what I want to do with you. The same thing I did with them is the same thing I'm going to do with you. I'm going to bring you out because I already have in my mind. I'm going to rescue you. I'm definitely going to redeem you. But I'm going to do it now with poured out fury. I'm adding a little extra. Then you're going to be my people, and I'm going to bring you into the land. And I'm going to give you that land that belonged to your ancestors. I'm going to give that to you because my promise is my word, and my word is my reputation, and my reputation is my character. But I don't want you to forget that I love you. I don't want you to forget that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing for you. I'm going to appear to you because I love you. All praise be given to our Elohim. All honor and respect belongs unto him. So as you can see, this Torah portion is very important. It shows us Yah's plan, not only for Mizraim, but for the plan for the world. Yah is coming to destroy their gods. He's coming to destroy the oppression. He's coming to destroy the wicked. He's coming to destroy the evil. He's coming to destroy the arrogant. He's coming to destroy the liar. He's coming to destroy the ones who don't listen to what he says. Those individuals got destroyed because they would not shema. They would not listen to what he has to say. If you don't listen to what Yah says, then you're saying that he doesn't exist. You can accept a deified man if you want to, somebody who says that they're Elohim. And if the person who says they're Elohim, what have they done for you? Have they brought you out? Have they done anything that we read today? No. So they're not Elohim. So the signature is Ani Yahweh. And he wanted you to know that signature. Sister Azania, you asked the question, you said, well, what's this picture? Go ahead, Lucas.
Oh, I just had a question earlier regarding when y'all was talking to Moshe about going talking to Pharaoh. When he led on to that, y'all was going to harden his heart. Was he explicitly telling Moshe that in advance notice that you're going to be going back and forth effectively and you're going to be getting denied over and over? Or was that kind of like a subtext that he was letting on or narrating or, discussing amongst his own up there in the heavens?
It's the first one you said.
Oh, okay.
The Most High knew that this man was arrogant. So Yah is using his arrogance and his pride. He's letting him use that. Yah didn't put something in him that wasn't there. Yah's using what's in him to bring about Yah's purposes. So we can see that Yah says, everything is mine, everything belongs to me. So a lot of people think that the Most High is the one who put that hardness in him. What he's saying is, I'm going to allow it. I'm going to cause it because it's there. It's already there. And we see this by the attitude of Pharaoh before the Most High even went to him. He's the one who said, he gathered the people and said, hey, it wasn't the people that came to him. It was him who said, hey, we got a problem. We're going to be in trouble. So, we don't want these people to leave, right? Because he doesn't want to send them, right? So Yah's saying, okay, well now, since you're not going to send my son, I'm going to kill your son. So this is a war. This is not just some, this is like somebody holding a royal seed, I don't know if you ever watched the Game of Thrones, okay? This is someone holding hostage the king's child. And there's this negotiations going on. And he's saying, hey, send him. You're like, no, I'm not going to send him. Okay. Well, this is coming. So the Most High would give out a warning. He would give Pharaoh a warning. Just about, not every time, but he would give him a warning. Say, if you don't do this, this is going to happen. And every time the Most High gave out that warning, it came to pass. So there's just several things that we should take from that. Like Yah gives us a warning before he takes an action. He says, I don't do anything unless I tell you. Okay, that's found in the book of Amos, chapter number 3. Yah does not do anything without first revealing it to his servants, the prophets. So when we're looking, you and I don't have to go look for another prophet. Yah has already told us what he's going to do. He's already told us through Yechezkel that, and by virtue of his name alone, with a strong, mighty hand, I'm going to do this. Okay. So Yah uses what's in us in order to bring about what he needs to bring about. Okay. So if you have something good in you, Yah can use that. We're just being used. We're just playing out the part. You know what I'm saying? So, and Yah says, I'm going to show my glory and my power, my strength, because that's what he wants everyone to know. So this thing about him appearing is for a reason. It's a purpose. And it wasn't just for us to say, well, here's a wonderful story about the children of Israel being delivered. No, it's about Yah saying, this is my goal. This is my intent. My intent is to let the world know. And that's why I opened it up with that statement, that the first statement that we had where he's told Pharaoh, he goes, where is it at? He says, by now I could have stretched out my hand and struck you and your people with a severe plagues, such severe plagues. That word severe is kavod, that you would have been wiped off the earth. I could have annihilated you. I could have sent you into oblivion, but I didn't. But it was for this very reason I have kept you alive. Now that's power, to show my power, so that my name may resound throughout the earth, because that's what he wants. So sometimes when we, earlier when we read these things, we're like, okay, well, he just wants to show his power. He's just showing that he's Elohim, and it's all good. This is who he is. He likes to show off. No. Yeah, I put that in there for us to understand what's going to happen. That's what it is. It's a forecast about what's coming. I'm going to destroy the world powers. Egypt was in its zenith of power. You know, they were building cities. I mean, there was a great abundance of wealth that was there. They were on top. The Most High said, you know, in chapter number 29 of Ezekiel, you go read it for yourself. He says, look, they will never rule again like they ruled before. They're a world power. They're a world power. So the Most High is saying, I'm going to destroy them. And I'm supposed to teach the nations about what I'm going to do to them. So it's not like the nations haven't got a warning, everyone. They got a warning. Akoti, Azania, you had said, well, what is that picture? It's an abstract. If you notice, there's no face on it, but this image of this warrior with some wings, you see, with this armor on, this beauty. It's just beautiful. You know, I thought it'd be an appropriate image for what I wanted to talk about today. It's about the Most High.
Yeah, yes.
Bringing war. Okay. He's bringing war to the nations. Okay. So that's what this Torah portion is about. So I hope you guys were able to gain something from this and learn something today. And to, you know, for us to get the forecast about what's going to happen. And whatever the Most High said, Dr. Urez said it earlier this week, when the Most High says something, he's going to do it. Okay? And he said he's going to do it. That's what we're hanging on to. You see, the New Testament doesn't say this. It doesn't tell you that I'm going to, you know, regather you. It doesn't tell you about the land. It doesn't tell you about the covenant. It doesn't tell you, you know, he says, I love you. I gave you my only begotten son. No, Yah says, I love you. I'm going to bring you back to your own land. So it's a whole different narrative. Okay. Any other questions before I let you go? And we are having Hebrew class today at 4:00 Pacific Standard Time. I forgot what lesson we're on, but we're going to be on the lesson. Anyone else? If not, I say Shabbat Shalom to you. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Shabbat shalom. Thank you, brother.
Shabbat shalom.